DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective, your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
As you can probably tell already, this is not Joe Williams. Joe is in sunny Portugal, having a very, very special moment with a loved one. I don't want to give too much specifics out there, but he's having a great time over there while we're wasting away talking about midfielders. But we have a great show for you today. I wanted to first, of course, plug the draft kit, which we've been working our collective tails off on all summer. I think we just have a few more articles to push out, but hope you're enjoying that. If you haven't, please take a look and give us a few shekels for either the draft kit or the ultimate pass that gives you everything for the entire season. I know some of us are already drafting. Some of us, like myself, unfortunately, have not started a draft. But we only have a little over a week left. Draft kit, again, has everything you could possibly want. Probably too much, if I'm being honest. But it's an excellent resource. So please do check it out. We're continuing with the positional pods. So we did defenders, and now it's a bit of midfield madness. So we got a great discussion today to talk about what I think is the most important position, but probably alone in that because I know a lot of these guys like forwards. But anywho, we have a full house. We have Toddy, Sanjy, and Tomas here to talk about midfielders. How we doing, boys?
Yo, not too bad.
All good, all good.
Yeah, you guys in the grips of slow draft hell or what?
Yes. It's my pick in 2 drafts at the moment, so I fully expect someone to come after us in the chat tonight, Tony.
So I'm just gonna have to carry this monologue for a while. Then, take your time. Take your time.
Oh, you know I do.
Oh, I do know. God, yeah. The mere thought of being in that draft turns my stomach. But anywho, so yeah, we're talking midfielders. I think there's some interesting tiers in terms of midfielders. We have some elites, we have some pretty goods, and then there's a lot of upside versus solid floor guys. So I think it'll be an interesting conversation. So yeah, we'll kind of go through the list of midfielders based on WAR, once against replacement. And then we'll have some discussion points, and then we'll answer all of your burning questions regarding midfielders. So Toddy, take it away.
Yes, so we have some questions that you've asked us on Discord, which we will get to at the end of the pod, and do send us some questions in chat as well. Before we move into the midfielders, though, I wanted to tell everyone who's listening live that we are going to do tomorrow. We're going to have a ranks update, our final pre-draft ranks update on Thursday, and we'll publish a mammoth transfers update article as well tomorrow. And if you have subscribed or if you haven't yet, we will have some email info about how you should or you could use the resources that you have available to you on draft day. So look out for that in your inboxes. Let's move into our midfielders. And before we move further along, we have our first slide, which is essentially our top few midfielders based on ranks. So we'll do the same as we did for the defenders. We'll talk a bit about our ranks and our tiers, and then we'll go into our in-depth discussion on midfielders based on WAR and ADP. So this is our ranks. First 20 midfielders ranked. It's a good mixture of steady eddies and high upside mids. How are you finding those of you who are in live drafts? Not you, Ryan.
Of course not.
How are you finding our consensus ranks, or sort of, or in real life, in real drafts? Are they on point? Have they moved the needle on it or on anyone, or are you seeing stuff in your drafts that will make you change your ranks for tomorrow?
I don't think there's any things changed from what I've seen that has made me think I'm going to change my ranks. But I think there are definitely a few people who I'm seeing getting taken a lot earlier than like we've got around them. I mean, obviously we're not omniscient, so somewhat to be expected. But so looking at it, Dwight McNeil's getting taken well after a lot of the names around him. Foden's been getting taken mid-round 2 from what I've been seeing. And Mohamed Kudus I've seen him go anywhere from sort of early round 2 to late round 3.
Yeah, I know it's probably self-serving, but I've been shocked by the drop of Saka, and it hasn't been crazy, but like even going to 4, I feel like is quite a drop, because most of the summer he was even ADP consensus number 1, and it makes sense to kind of swap with Salah a little bit given the positional need and the forward frenzy. But for him to go 4 in a lot of drafts, I think it's just nuts, and it makes me wish that I was at 4.
Yeah, I was at 4, and I was pretty much set to pick Bruno,
God,
which kind of had me looking to trade out of 4th.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I ended up with Saka, so all good.
Well, now I'm trying to trade out of 1 because it feels like a waste to take him there, which feels absurd. But yeah, I guess that's where we are. I mean, you can make an argument for I think the first 3, but still.
Do you think it's purely because he's got a red flag on fan tracks at the moment that's putting people off?
Yeah, I think that little knock in the friendly, I guess, if there's fine margins between, I think the top 3 and 4, of course, but like still, maybe the fact that he started today will calm some nerves, but or yeah, maybe they're just higher on the other players as they've started to go through drafts. But yeah, I don't get it, because I think if he stays healthy, he'll be number 1 at the end of the season.
I think it's a bit of an overthink, like you mentioned, to the flag, and I think it's just the signings and stuff. Maybe people think that, he gets subbed early, managed a bit more, that sort of stuff. But definitely, like I've seen like the knock mentioned from the preseason friendlies, etc., thrown in multiple chats. I mean, Totti, you kind of reached out to me even when I made the pick of, I think, Bruno over Saka as well. I mean, that did play on my mind a little bit, the injury and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't think you can go too wrong with Bruno and pens. Same. I mean, I don't even know if Saka has pens. Like, is there a chance Gyökeres takes that off Saka, Ryan?
Potentially. I still don't. I don't think he will, unless like he's in a little bit of a slump and they just like throw him a sympathy pen like they did Kai, and then like he just takes off and he just keeps him. But like I feel like we tend to overplay the pens situation because Arsenal got 2 fucking pens all season last year.
Didn't Wolves get 1 or 0?
I don't think they got 1. I don't think they got 1 at all. It's like it's only like 2 or 3 teams where they get enough pens during the season for it to kind of like actually matter.
So, was it Solskjaer's Man United that got like 11 or something?
Oh my god! And then Chelsea 2 seasons ago, I think Palmer's first season with them, they got, I want to say like 11 potentially. I think they still got 9. Like they seem to be the perennial leader in pens now. Although for years it seemed like Alex Ferguson's Man United was. But yeah, I think Saka will at least start off the season, and then we'll see if he misses some or they want to get Gyökeres going. Maybe they transfer him. But yeah, for now at least it'll be Saka's. But yeah, anywho, I guess the elite kind of speaks for itself. I guess going down into the nitty gritty of there's like that chunk between like Diallo and probably Foden. I think Iwobi's definitely that next tier. He's not getting drafted in like real drafts in that little chunk, but these guys are. So from like Diallo, McNeil, MGW, Enzo, Gordon, Foden, those guys are all getting drafted, usually like mid-second to mid-third. So like I think there's some distinct differences there. I'm pretty low on MGW this season, and I like Enzo, but I could also see him maybe regressing a little bit. So who do you guys think is the pick of the litter in that kind of tier?
You're talking about Diallo to Foden, right?
Yeah.
I mean, bias aside, I think I'd still go back to Enzo. I think they've improved the attack. He's positionally playing further up the pitch. I think he tends to just nick a goal or an assist here and there. The reason being is like there's a bit of process of elimination with the rest of the players, because Diallo I put off because is he going to play a wing back? He's not playing one of those 2 number 10 positions. Dwight McNeil, like, I mean, Everton are signing a lot of midfielders right now. What's going to happen there? We've seen clubs that are going into Europe for the first time, they tend to struggle. So that's why I'm put off by Morgan Gibbs-White as well. Anthony Gordon, I mean, that setup is disrupted with the whole Isak drama. Alex Iwobi, I don't mind, but I think for me, I feel like last season was his peak. I don't know if he can do better than that. And Phil Foden is just like, I mean, after the chat that I had with Ben Chickens in our community, I was just put off. Like, it just seems like Phil Foden can either win you your league or lose it.
Yeah, I mean the place he's getting drafted, I kind of agree. So he's not making past like 210, 2.9 maybe.
I think he'll slip in some drafts till the end of the second, early third.
He slipped to 3.6 in mine. Yeah,
that's a little bit more than I would expect. I would expect maybe like very end of the second, maybe to like 3.2, 3.3. But yeah, I think that's the point where he gets like, okay, like there's a chance that he is a dud again, but there's also a chance that he balls out, and that's when the risk reward proposition tilts towards, I might as well give it a shot. But then it kind of, you're tied into the fact that you're going to have to, in the next 4 to 5 rounds, get somebody to try and cuff him as much as possible. But we've talked about this ad nauseum. City this season is super confusing and difficult to actually figure out who to cuff, but you're going to need somebody else on that City side to bring in when he gets rotated. So that locks you into a certain type of draft. But at that point, I think it's worth the risk.
I think fundamentally everyone from Diallo onwards, I feel bad about taking them probably early second. And then there's a whole group of people who could easily go in sort of picks, 2-8 to 3-2. And like everyone has a massive question mark over them, except for probably Enzo Fernandez. I like Morgan Gibbs-White, probably for definitely more than you seemingly do, Ryan. But I think I still have him behind Ahmad in my latest rankings, but that's probably just me loving Ahmad too much. With Morgan Gibbs-White, obviously there's the Euro question, but part of me thinks that although he, whatever scenario happened that caused him to sign a new contract, he signed a new contract, and then have definitely promised that they'll keep him being the focal point of whatever Forest can do this year.
But they peaked in terms of form and goals last season, and he still was just like, meh. Good, but not like early second round good.
Yeah. Also, are we ignoring the fact that his video of the contract announcement looked like a hostage video?
Yes, it did. Very much so.
When you're playing for your freedom, it's.
I mean, he's saved his career by not going to Spurs, so like there's something to be celebrated, even if there was a gun pointed at his back.
I mean, the funny thing is though, like given the injury to Matters now and Kulu still being out, like Spurs would kill for Morgan Gibbs-White more than ever now.
Yeah, not enough to actually research what a release clause is, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not to beat a dead horse, but maybe just like Diallo, he's one that obviously I can't take myself, but like I've seen him super hyped and I've seen him kind of discarded as either he comes in at right wing back or he's just kind of rotating with Mbeumo. There seems to be quite a broad disagreement there, so I don't know where you guys land on him.
It just feels like there's way too many cooks in that kitchen.
Yeah, I've said this like a month ago when we podded that there's just no way they would have to score like 100 goals for all these players to be viable at the place where they're being drafted.
Yeah.
Someone will miss out, and my biggest bet is I think Mbeumo.
I mean, Bumo's taking like set pieces and stuff, which is kind of heartening, right?
I guess not if you're a Bruno roster. If he eats into those, then it might be.
Yeah, fair.
All right, yeah, we've gone through this tier. I think it's an interesting discussion, and it'll be really really interesting to see where they all kind of land at the end of the season. If some of them will warrant this draft picks and some of them won't. So it's tough to decide right now who those will be, but good little chunk of assets there.
Yeah, we have, so based on the war rank, Anthony Gordon rounds out our top 20, and that's a huge question mark for me. Like, anyone who's rostered him in the second half of the season will want to stay the hell away from him. Yet we still have him pretty high.
As you know, taking first, so 24, 25. If I don't get some of my other targets, I'm definitely looking at him there. I think he's due for a bounce back season, despite the controversy surrounding Isak. I think ultimately Isak stays, but even if he doesn't, like, he's being used as the number 9 right now. So I think he'll be nailed. I think he scores pretty well. They'll need somebody to step up, even if Isak leaves. Even during a down season last season, his PPS was still decent enough to warrant a 24-25 pick. So he's somebody that intrigues me there. I mean, his season 2 seasons ago was good enough for him to be taking like late round 1, early round 2, and to get him in the end of the second, early to mid third, I think is decent value. Kind of like not as risky as Foden, not as upsidey as Foden, just kind of like in the middle there. So I think he's worth a punt around there if some of your other targets don't pan out. But
I suppose there is a big question mark over Newcastle next year in general. I hate to say it, but they could struggle. They've got Europe, and last time they had Europe, although Gordon did well in that season, they've struggled tremendously to get in new blood at the club. I mean, it's not really going to affect Gordon, but like the age that's going on, it's a bit. If Newcastle aren't a top 4, top 5, top 6 club next year, then where do you see Gordon value sort of changing to?
Yeah, I mean I know they haven't made any signings bar Elanga, but I think Elanga's fairly exciting. How I could see Gordon kind of feeding him some through balls for him to latch onto. Yeah, well, I think they'll be better than people think. I don't think it's going to be as doom and gloom as it seems right now. But yeah, we'll see. All right, let's go to the next. Oh, look at that!
Hi, Joe.
Hey,
Hope you're enjoying
bud.
yourself.
Go spend some time with your wife. Lunatic.
Ita Bifana.
All right. Next kind of tier. This is when you get the rotational upside of someone like a Savio and a Doku versus a little bit more of a floor guy like Rice, and then someone who we need to check is still wandering the earth like Justin Kluivert. And some Kulu, who is injured, but
I've heard
could be the saving grace coming back.
I've actually heard from a Spurs supporting league mate of mine that there is rumors around the Spurs. I don't know, Spurs Reddit, I guess, or somewhere.
God, what a sad place.
That he's out till December.
Oof. Wowza.
So D&D then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sar and Bergvall time. Christ, they're going to be such a joke. Okay. Any of these guys stand out? Like Rice. I think third is too high for me. Like him a lot. Takes set pieces. It'll be interesting to see how he links up with the new signings. I think Zubamendi can unlock him and Odegaard a bit more, but he still has that kind of ceiling, despite the solid floor. So 3 is too much for me. 4, I like him a lot more. But any of these other guys stick out to you?
I think it has to be mentioned the discrepancy between the war rank and ADP for Yankuba Minter. That's it's the highest that we've got on the board, and he's the best player according to our projections, which I appreciate aren't the gospel truth, but he's got the best player that we got projected, and yet his ADP is down at 56, which, I mean, that's excellent value, isn't it? Anywhere from the third onwards, if this is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's just rotation down at Brighton.
Yep.
But yeah, you could easily kind of provide some decent cover later on if you want to take a punt on like a Gruda or a O'Reilly if he stays. In which case, yeah, you can handle that rotation and get some really good outings throughout the season.
It's pretty interesting to see that in our ranks, Mitoma is a full round and a half, or maybe a round earlier than Minte, and in Draftlad's war ranks, Minte actually pips Mitoma, based on mainly his higher points per start, which is 11.4 for Minte and 10.4 for Mitoma.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised there. I mean, Mitoma more of a known quantity. Minte had his moments last season, but also kind of burnt out near the end. I remember being a little disappointed with him in the last like 4 or 5 weeks. But yeah, that's an interesting dynamic, that one. This is kind of where you see the city guys pop up a bit here. Savios, Doku's, Cherokees. It's like, man, what do you do with that lot?
Well,
I'm asking, what do you really do with it?
Try to get them all, or get as many as you can.
Pokemon.
Yeah, gotta catch them all.
I suppose what is something that's a positive for taking one or maybe two of the City wingers this year is because City weren't particularly good last year. They're going to be on at 4:30 on a Sunday, a lot less like coming up past Super Sunday, you'd imagine. Whereas last year they were constantly the last game week, or there was a Monday Night Football between Forest and Palace that no one cared about, and you weren't picking anyone up from anyway. But there's a possibility that they start playing some earlier, they're not going to stop getting televised games in the UK, but they might overall start being pushed forward a bit, which gives you a little bit more flexibility with them.
The issue is that they'll play on Wednesday, so they will still most likely be a Sunday game. Maybe not a late Sunday game, but a Sunday game nonetheless.
Oh man, it's giving me heartburn just thinking about a late Sunday game. Oof. What
about the Villa guys? I know you, Ryan. You like talking about Morgan Rogers, but he's also
Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, he's also been taken in the second round pretty consistently.
Unbelievable.
In most of the drafts.
I hope to God that happens in my 2 drafts.
But
I'd rather have Teals, to be fair. And he's going, 2 rounds later? 3 rounds later?
Yeah. At least 2 rounds later, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
I mean, honestly, projections, I'd rather have Murillo than Morgan Rogers.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I appreciate it.
He's also limped off today with an apparent injury, so if anyone's in a live draft right now, like Sanjy and myself and Tom,
it's probably already gone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think we've talked a bit about all these. Maybe some more interesting midfielders down the line if we go to our next tier, unless anyone has any.
I mean, I just want to touch on the Declan Rice thing. I know you say you want to take him in, you prefer him in the 4th, but he's not gonna last till then.
Yeah, I know. I'm fine missing out on the 3rd.
Right. Then a couple other names. I think Kudus is probably going to be great to start your season, especially just because they're missing so many creative players from their setup space. I just feel like he's somewhat nailed for starts and minutes and whatnot. And then is Damsgaard somewhat going under the radar a bit, because yes, they lost Mbuemo and all that, but now he should be a lot more responsible with set pieces and stuff. And again, Toddy, I know you're very high on your boy Dams, right?
I am, and part of it is that what you said, that a fair few of the players that ate into his creative minutes are gone. Obviously, you can't overlook the fact that their overall quality has gone down. My main positive thinking about Damsgaard is just the trust the process type of thinking that has seen Brentford do and get something out of nothing with all of these unknowns. We're talking about so I've heard especially Spurs fans, obviously, I've heard people talk about Thomas Frank like he was Carlo Ancelotti, like saying that now with Frank they can take the next step and whatever, and like 3 or 4 years ago he was an assistant coach at Brentford. So why are we? And I don't want to dismiss Thomas Frank's capabilities of taking Spurs wherever they want to go, but stuff just seems to work out at Brentford. Like if you look at the starting lineup, bar 2 or 3 players, none of them are players that you would want on your team. You would say are definitely Premier League quality, whatever. And even 2 seasons ago, which was their sort of down season, they were still solid. They were still punching comfortably in Premier League weight.
I mean, we're about to find out whether or not that was Frank or more of like institutional stability, like Brighton.
Exactly. This is the sort of test of whether it's the way they do stuff that is working, or was it the fact that they've stumbled upon a guy who was able to put together a team that became much better than their parts. So, like, I think it's, as it's been said ad nauseum, it's a similar situation at Brighton. Like, we've seen them change all types of personnel, like coaches, head coaches, backroom personnel, players, and they've managed to, with some hiccups, they've managed to keep up the steady improvement that they have been on for the last 5-6 years. And I think Brentford, a bit lower down the pecking order, are doing something similar, and we'll see if this works out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
This is more a gut feeling, really, but I feel like Brentford have lost more of what made them good, sort of all at once, than Brighton did. Like, even when they lost like Potter and Caicedo and Cucurella in quite a short amount of time.
Yeah, their club captain as well, right? Norgard.
Yeah.
I said I was writing the Brentford forecast, and I wrote in there, and I still agree that out of all of the losses, I think Norgard is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Both tactically and sort of in the backroom stuff, and I think that's part of the reason why they brought in Jordan Henderson to have a leader type person in the dressing room that Norgard was. Obviously, it would have been better to bring someone in that could actually
Run.
Yeah, could actually be a viable starter in the Premier League, but yeah, I think this is the second best thing they could do.
Yeah.
How are you gonna knock your previous captain like that, Toddy?
Principled man.
I mean, I knocked him when he was our captain as well, so I think I've been pretty consistent in knocking Henderson.
Love that.
Yeah, I'd love to spend a few minutes on Sobo, because I can't make heads or tails of him this season, but I'll leave that up to y'all if you want to move on.
I mean, leave it with the Liverpool fan. What are you saying, Toddy?
If anyone's read my love but can't draft blurb, I've just gone ahead and
I thought it was D&D.
No, it was the D&D was Gyökeres. The love but
Yeah.
can't draft was
Oh yeah, of course. Yes.
So I think he will still play, and you can, if you're watching this stream live or later on YouTube, then you can see on our screens that he is currently projected to start 21 games by draft line, and I think that's a much higher number. That said, he will start further back. He is able to play number 6, and he will do that well. I think his off the ball movement and effort makes him indispensable, so he will play the more important games. He might miss out on some of the better games to play in. I think all depends on Wirtz. If he is allowed to play a free 10 role, which I think is his best role, then the numbers just don't add up behind him. So it's just going to be a kind of double pivot behind him, which is going to be 2 of Gravenberch, McAllister, and Soboslai. Yeah. So that means there are some limitations on his minutes, but like, if anyone, I know that preseason is preseason as always, but if anyone's seen him play in preseason, he's actually enjoying playing and producing much better, playing a bit further back, because he's able to whip crosses and through balls and stuff like that, like pretty similar to how Trent was playing when he inverted into like a DM type role. So just behind the front line in a against a low block, I think he will strive there.
All right, yeah, that's interesting. It's enough uncertainty for me to kind of steer clear. Where does he have to fall to make him interesting for you? What round?
I think at the end of the 5th he's fine, and after that he's fine.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's move on.
Martinelli, starting with Martinelli on our next set of midfielders.
What to do with Marty? Gotta love him. I'm not drafting him this season. It's just too much. It's too much on my heart, you know. He I think he's going to have a bit more competition with Madueke than we'd all like to admit. The Trossard injury and speculation that he leaves would have made it a little easier to stomach without the Madueke signing, and the potential to sign Eze still, who can play left or centrally. This competition could get the best out of him, but it could also equate to 15, 20 starts, in which case drafting him in the 5th round is a waste of draft capital. So just too much uncertainty for me. I mean, I guess you could try to cuff the 2, but that's a lot to do it. You have to do it, I think, 5th and 6th or 7th. And even still, as they could come in and steal some starts over there. So just too much uncertainty for me, especially that high. So I'm going to probably steal Kerr, but I love him.
Okay,
yeah,
so we still have Madison here with 12 starts. I think that's a bit optimistic. Yeah. Seeing the rumors on his injury, looks like some kind of a ligament injury, which is never good. The drafter or the draft manager in me says it's sad that it's a serious injury, but it's better to get that injury out of the way because it was gonna happen anyway.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he's shown himself to be fairly injury prone. And I guess the excess of Ange ball from last season carried over. And yeah, I mean, I just hate to say it, but pure fantasy terms, it makes it easier to not draft him. because I know a lot of people were tempted in like the 5th round of the earlier drafts. So sad to see, of course, but for drafting purposes, he's no longer an option there. But who of this crop kind of intrigues you? We've gone from Alcaraz mania and pure Venezuela-like inflation with him.
Nice.
To is he even going to start with all of these new signings? Moyes has got his mojo back. Him and Jai, like, how do they get into the best 11 if say Grealish and Dibbling and KDH is already in there? How are you guys kind of navigating the Everton midfield? I guess, Tom, you wrote the Everton article. It's been flipped upside down now.
Yeah, so because when I wrote the article, obviously, Everton had approximately 12 outfielders in their squad. I think things have changed a little bit. It's just a roll of the dice. And they've got sort of 6 players going into 3 positions now. And if possible, I don't really want to touch them because are you really spending draft capital on a rotation Everton player? Absolutely not. Like, yeah, I think, if those signings go through, I don't really. I mean, I still like Sanjy, but I think that's just because I like watching him play and like I think he's good. Yeah. But like Alcaraz, I don't think we saw enough of him last season to think you're not going to. His spot feels the most tenuous. I mean, there's McNeil who he's a Dyche guy through and through. Moyes started him twice last year, obviously because he was injured when he got brought in. So there's the 3 Everton players we've seen so far. Like there are question marks about them.
My biggest issue with Alcaraz, as much as I like him, is that even when he played well and was injury-free at the end of last season under Moyes, I remember this because I constantly tried to get him and pick him up, and I was writing the waivers article, and he was coming up every time. He was still not definitely in the 11, even without Grealish and KDH and whoever they still sign. He was still not nailed on, even after games where he came on and scored and was really good and whatever. So
that was because I think that was supposed to be because of the loan obligation to buy if he played 10 starts, whereas they thought that they could renegotiate it. So they started him 9 times and then got him for a cheaper amount than. Because they were playing for nothing the second half of last season once they got safe.
Yeah, it was purely money. I mean, again, to add on to that as well, is like, so, I mean, we do the reps for all 20 clubs. Ryan, you were our Arsenal one. I think it was kind of damning that when we asked the Everton rep who his picks were, he didn't list Alcaraz as his first or next 3 picks. Which I think says a lot as well. And Jai was definitely on there. McNeil was on there, where he also then suggested McNeil was possibly a trap because, Moyes said early on he wants to bring in a bunch of players. So, yeah, it's honestly, again, back to Tom's point about Sanjy, it's not just the eye test. He might have penalties as well. That's the only reason I kind of want to go back there.
Where do we place KDH in all of this? Where are we drafting him today?
Does he start? Like,
I think he starts.
I assume so. I mean, that's a decent amount of money for Everton.
So we assume he takes Garner's position.
Yeah, I think he starts next to Gay.
Yeah. Damn.
Has KDH actually ever been good in fan tracks? Or has he just been a darling of the
There was a brief but memorable stretch in which he was, but very brief.
Yeah, he wasn't a nailed on starter in the Leicester team that got relegated. And when he started, he was a type of high floor, low ceiling guy who, despite playing an 8 role, um, so when Leicester got relegated, he was playing next to Ndidi, and he was playing as a left centre mid, and he loved to just float into the half space in front of the box and ping in crosses or shoot wherever he got the chance. So he had like 5 or 6 great games, incisive, whatever, and then he was decent to good in the championship, and yeah, that's about it.
Well, so, yeah, because I'm just looking at his. I appreciate fantasy points per game doesn't tell the whole story, but in the 2 seasons he's played the Prem, discounting last year for obvious reasons, he's got 6.4 and 7.6 points per game, which isn't very many.
No, we were just talking about this with Brian, and I think we agreed that post 9th round, he's a decent punt if he gets enough starts. But the way drafts have been going, he went in the 6th in one of ours. Was it ours, Tom?
Yeah, he went 6-6.
Yeah, we went
Ooh.
6-6.
Yeah, it's a bit too early for me. The Bournemouth guys here are interesting. I always have a soft spot for Tavs because he usually goes really well. He's got the ability, which is pretty rare in this little echelon, to have some monsters. Of course, he's injury prone and can be rotated, but I think out of this entire tier, he's probably the most attractive here for me. Dango I love, but I don't have faith that he's going to be a nailed on starter.
Now that Hamad is back as well.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Tav having the best upside. Obviously, Madueke and Martinelli combined have the highest upside, but it's just such a mess there before the window. So if I knew that SA wasn't coming,
yeah, and Truss was leaving, it'd be worth a 5-7 cuff.
Even without a cuff, I think, because I don't see a clear sort of difference between the two. So I would think that it's going to be 18 and 20 starts or something like that, and such is the upside that even 18 starts at left wing for Arsenal is decent, I think.
For a 5th round pick?
I mean, maybe 6th, 7th. Yeah.
The thing going back to Tav as well is just his injury. That is the biggest put off, right? Injury record.
That's the only thing that's a big put-off.
Yeah.
But
other than that, he would be a 3rd rounder. Like if he was nailed on to start around 30 games.
So his last 3 seasons, last season started 20, year before 25, year before that 19. So yeah, you're looking at early 20s kind of floor for starts probably. But PPS wise, I mean,
so if you're looking at PPS, and if you just bump the 24 starts up to like 29, then you're looking at Kluivert type number.
I mean, shit, you could even, I hate the sound of it on paper, but Tavernier Dango cuff, I mean, not the worst thing.
No, definitely not.
Especially if you can get Dango pretty cheap. But Yeah, tabs ADP 70. Yeah, I mean I have other targets around there, but I wouldn't mind settling on him around there. All right, let's move on. Oh gosh. All right. This is a lot of
Punty McPunterson.
I already see my favorite player.
Yeah.
Tell me.
All right,
Juve,
everybody
man.
can pick one person to not put in the top 50.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Juve. And it's fully recent. It's fully like recency bias. Just watching him put in those crosses. Was it against United? I think. Which game was that?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those Premier League Summer Series games or whatever. But yeah, my God, that man can cross the ball, yo. And he's got two nice targets in the box in Bowen and Fulkrug. Yeah, I'm hoping to get him in at least one league. I might have to reach for him because I think Moxie was going like maybe 8th, 9th. I feel like you might have to reach 7th. I don't know if I'd go higher than that though.
7th is too high.
Yeah. He's an out of position West Ham midfielder at the end of the day.
Yeah. And so my issue is not that's an issue as well. But my issue is that we don't know enough about him not to be able to say that he's a one-trick pony. Like he is electric, and he has been in the preseason, and all the research we have done says that he should be fine. He should be good. But if his crosses start getting sussed out, and maybe they put a defender on him who is able to press him so that he doesn't get to the actual crosses, then what are you left with?
Yeah, if you're an ACNC merchant and you don't get the C, it's tough.
I suppose that we'll see game week 1 when they come up to the Stadium of Light.
Ooh.
Maybe they could do it against a proper Premier League side, eh?
Yeah, that's true. That will be such a litmus test for the other 19 teams.
All eyes will be on that game, I'm sure.
Indeed. Speaking of Stadium of Light, Lefebvre is one of the few promoted players that potentially could pique my interest. I've seen him go in wildly different spots of the draft. So we're looking at current. Is this current, Toddy? The ADPs?
No, they are. The ADPs are moving so quickly that you can't.
Yeah.
The ADP.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
133 sounds about right. What is it?
135.
Oh, okay, so it's about there. Fair value there. Or...
Yeah, I think he's certainly worth the punt at. So what's that? That's going to be early round 14. No, that's wrong. that's not how maths works. That's early round 11.
It's a bit early, but I'll go with it.
Yeah, I think he's interesting. He'll be on sets. He's quite good. Very frustrating. He'll probably really annoy you with dispossessions because he likes doing fancy flicks which don't come off. But
does he get the successful dribbles that come with it, or is it mostly just dispossessions?
Depends if he's against a championship wingback or not. Last year, I'd imagine that he did. Yeah, well, he was playing out on the wing though last year. I think he'll be. I mean, I'm not going to say he'll get loads of key passes next year, but he'll have loads of key passes next year in comparison to anyone else at Sunderland, which is nice, I suppose.
About Granite. Fair enough.
I think he's a few slides back.
Fair enough.
I suppose Granite might be on lefty sets.
Is Yeah, excuse my ignorance. Is Lefay, is he left-footed?
Yeah, right-footed. He'll
Okay.
be definitely taking all right-footed set pieces.
Okay.
Last year he was taking, some of the corners which are traditionally on the some of the corners from the right side as well. But that was more because we didn't play with any left-footed people.
Mm-hmm. The
very, very inclusive of you.
The two guys in terms of like potential upside that stand out to me here. I'm so curious about Reinders because I can't get a feel of if he's going to be like Gundogan or if he's going to be like KDB light, super light, like Coke Zero light. I have no idea what to expect from him, which makes me curious but also scared.
Knowing City, they're just as likely to turn him into another Mateus Nunes, aren't they?
Yeah, he could be like a Rico Lewis of 4.5 PPS ilk. I'm so curious about him. He's one of those guys that, like, if I get like a Foden early on, then like I'm curious enough, and he's like one of the cheaper ones to just be like, you know what the hell, I'll at least have cover, and if he pans out, then I have a steal. But if not, then I at least have a body to cover Foden with. But him and kind of Harry Wilson, who seems more like a draft and flip kind of guy since he's been like red hot over preseason. If he starts out hot, then you can potentially deal him for a decent amount before he inevitably gets injured or is rotated out for Raheem Sterling or somebody. So he's intriguing as well.
Yeah, two guys who've been shooting up draft boards once the real drafts have started are Arias and Paquetá. We don't have Joe, who wrote the West Ham blurb, but yeah, Paquetá, he's, for me, in scoring wise, he's very similar to KDH. Like, I just don't see him involved enough in attacking plays to warrant how much he's jumping up in the draft ranks. Whereas Arias is such an unknown. Ryan will share some thoughts, I'm sure, on him. Very similar situation to Diouf.
Yeah, Arias has a pretty good ceiling. I mean, in terms of like, Wolves are really going to be reliant, and I think on him to not fill the Cunha void, but fill the Cunha void. They don't have anybody else to really look to. Munetzi is not that kind of player. Fer Lopez is too young. Strand Larson needs service. I mean, the Bellegarde is hit or miss, so he's got enough of an eye for goal and enough of a work rate to potentially be the guy there. But it's still Wolves. It's still Pereira. They're not going to score loads of goals, so there is a ceiling in that respect. But if you're looking for somebody that could potentially be the guy for a mid-table team at a discounted rate, he's kind of your guy. Where he's been going in community league drafts is way too high, but I like him later on. Paquetá, he's always been a D&D guy for me, but mostly because he's been going super early the last few seasons, in like 5th, 6th, sometimes even earlier. He was intriguing to me over the summer because because of the betting scandal, and some of his shit performances last season, he's been so deflated.
And those yellows.
So yeah, it started to pique my interest. But if because of the betting controversy kind of being resolved, he shoots back up, then I'm not interested. But like after round 10, sure.
Yeah, I mean after round 10, anything
goes.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else? Anyone wants to mention out of this slide, or can we move on?
We can
We
move on, I think.
This is the thick of it.
Oof.
Can we move back?
Oh my god, this is proper dregs.
Yes. So for those only listening to this pod, we have moved on to our final set of midfielders, starting with Matt O'Reilly and finishing up with Nico O'Reilly. A nice little,
Some O'Reilly bookends. I like it.
yes, a nice little bookends. Anyone out of these that you want to mention? There's one I want to mention later in the pod out of these because most of these are not going to get drafted.
Yeah, I think I'm
Anyone you
good.
want to draft from these?
Maybe Matt O'Reilly.
I think O'Reilly and Andres Pereira are one of those that maybe would have deserved to be in the slide before, like the ones that you can punt on post 10th round.
Tonali has decent mid-5 potential.
Set and forget mid-7.
Yes, he's knocking on your door at mid-6. He's the elite illegal lineup piece. Yeah, not really.
I think besides O'Reilly, what is your guys' take on Garnacho if he leaves for Chelsea?
No.
I don't think it'll happen though. I don't know. I really don't think so. I feel like Villa is the better place for him, to be honest. If he goes to Villa, I'd prefer him.
So where is everyone taking him if he goes to Villa, and where is everyone taking him if he goes to Chelsea?
Jacob Ramsey light. Not interested either way.
Tom?
Really struggling to put my thoughts on Garnacho into words here.
Words that make this pod still unrated.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see who he takes minutes from at Chelsea, really. Other than I imagine that he's going to use a spinny wheel to decide the starting 11 over there next year. At Villa, I hope that Rashford went over there and did all right, so this lad will probably do the same. I just don't see him performing to a level that I'd bother wasting a draft pick on him.
I think he's one of those guys who you pick up in round 14 with the hope that you can flip him once one of the either transfer goes through.
Yeah, if you pick him up in round 16 as a placeholder for your goalkeeper, then go for it.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Maybe James Ward-Prowse. Only because he's been starting games in preseason, but this is really scraping the barrel.
Has he been good under Potter?
No.
What was he averaging towards the end? Let me check quickly. He got 17 versus Ipswich, 6 versus Nottingham, 14.5 versus United, 7.5 versus Spurs. I mean, it's not the best of ghosts. This is mid-5 and backup mid numbers, but again, scraping the barrel sort of thing. Would you rather James Ward-Prowse or Keenan Dewsbury-Hall?
I'd much rather KDH. At least he has a clearer path to minutes on a better team, I think.
think broadly, if they were both starting, I'd rather like stream in JWP than KDH.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, one last question on this slide. I know that Genie has been saying that he thinks it's Romain Esse who takes Esse's spot if he goes to Arsenal. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know enough about Esse. Is he a left winger?
He's one of those can play anywhere in the front line type of attacking midfielders.
Trying to think who else they would have there. I mean, you could play Eddie there, but he's got I think a hamstring or some sort of injury that's going to keep him out for the next couple of months, I want to say. I just saw that today. And then França hasn't really worked out, so I guess process of elimination, or maybe they use some of the money to bring somebody in.
I think that's the main thing that people would oppose this theory with, that they'd rather bring in someone than throw in a young guy on the deep end. Again, probably a 15th, 16th round punt.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, if he starts a couple games before they buy in some new blood, then you've got a game week 1 to 3 starter, haven't you, potentially?
Yeah, he's worth the punt there.
Yeah.
All right, moving along.
Questions.
Woo!
Ooh.
So Purple Devil asks, Grealish almost exclusively plays off the left. Is that going to threaten Njai?
So I was indisposed for much of today, and I missed the Grealish rumors. Like, somebody bring me up to speed on how valid they might be.
I think it's early days.
Who reported it?
It was on the Athletic as well.
Oh, okay. Like a
So not
loan
just-
buy option, or
I don't think there is talk of that season-long loan.
oh
Season
wow,
long.
God, what
The
the mighty
deal-
have fallen.
The deal is considered complicated, and at this stage there are no guarantees it will materialize, but discussions are happening. I think
Sounds promising.
the complication is that Grealish is earning about twice as much sitting on the City bench than most of the Everton starting 11 combined.
Yeah, how much the stadium cost?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, it probably gets to a point where City's happy to subsidize some of it if it means getting him off the squad.
Yeah, and also obviously these loans that are going to happen, like Sancho and the likes of the players that are clearly out of contention at their clubs, those Sterlings and whatever, they are like shop window loans, so they're willing. The clubs that don't want these players are willing to pay to have these players pay with the view of hopefully getting some sort of return on their investment if they play well. So like if they pay half Grealish's salary and he is 70%, maybe 60% of the player he was at Villa at Everton, then they would be able to flip him for like 40 million next season.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I would like to think that Grealish is pushing to actually play more minutes, but I don't know if he is anymore. He's a shell of himself.
Yeah, that's my issue as well. Like, I'm not sure that he's pushing to play more minutes.
Yeah, he's a guy that if you want to take a punt on later on if nothing has materialized, just on the off chance that he does, like 14th to 16th round, he's worth the potentially wasted pick in the off chance that it does happen. But Yeah, I think if it does happen, it would threaten Jai. He'd be the main loser there.
But also Njai can play 10 as well.
Yeah, but now you got KDH and some others that
And
could do
McNeil.
the same. Yeah.
But also they've lost Harrison, or he's gone back.
Isn't that addition by subtraction?
That's true.
Yeah. Old Scruffy with the Cisco edition on top of Boomer. Well, it's confident of Shishko coming in. Improving Bruno's stock, bringing it down. I mean,
let's read it out for the audio listeners as well. So with the Sheshko edition on top of Mbomo and Cunha, do we see this improving Bruno's stock or bringing it down?
So if Xerxes and Hoyland couldn't bring it down, I don't know what Benjamin Tesco is going to do, but I don't see it bringing it down. I don't think he's going to be a big hit his first season. But having said that, he does have more goals than Hoyland did coming in, 13 versus 8. So I think he'll be a little bit better, but I would assume it helps, but not by much.
Yeah, I don't think it can help essentially much, because if Sheshko scores a goal, it's going to be a goal that someone else there would have scored. So I don't think they're going to score much more with Sheshko in there.
Yeah, so sick of United. Okay, anybody else?
I suppose it's the question because it takes away basically any chance of Bruno playing as part of the front three, isn't it? It's why the question's being asked. It means he's going to be sitting deeper, you'd imagine.
Yeah, but I don't think the sitting deeper affects his numbers that much, though.
Yeah, I think Genie's forecasts on United had some numbers in as well about that. So I don't think there is
shots fired.
I don't think he doesn't listen. Don't worry. I don't think it makes much of a difference.
Fair enough.
Let's move on. KD asks, what do you guys prefer, high ceiling or high floor midfielders? Doku, Minte, Savio versus Iwobi, Tielemans, Damsgaard. What is a good combination?
C'est magnifique.
I mean that's really roster dependent, though. Roster construction dependent, right? Like, who's your first couple of picks?
Yeah, and also I think it's more. It is roster dependent. Also, it is manager type dependent. Like, if you have your Dokus and Savios and probably Mintes, or maybe Mitoma would be a better pick there. So your Dokus, Mitomas, and Savios, then you just have to be much more active on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
And much more ruthless with your squad. Because you're going to have your high value assets not start more than 25 games.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, ideally a combo of the two.
Yep.
That's also fair.
Any mids from the 3 promoted sides worth drafting? I think Lefay is the only one I would look at.
I think a Dingler's still worth a punt.
Man.
Maybe not where he's been going in like mock drafts, but when you're getting into the weeds, if he's still there in like round 12, I don't see any harm in taking a look at him.
I doubt he's there at round 12, but yeah, at round 12, anything goes, as we've said.
I feel like Elf should be going around the same time as Adingra. Not saying like as high as where Adingra is going, but I think the only reason Adingra is going that high is because his name recognition.
Let's not make Elf a thing.
Why not? Tom told me about Elf. Come on.
No.
Let
Ju-
Tom have his
just-
one season moment.
Just no. Not on my watch. All right. Who is TDS most likely top scoring player who will go undrafted in most leagues? Great question. Who wants to
I made a
go
watch
first?
list.
Josh Cullen. I reckon it will score 7.5 points every single week and start 38 games, and it'll be top of that list. No one will ever roster him, but he'll just be there at the top of free agency, and no one will ever want him.
That's actually a good shout.
A bit like Ashley Westwood a few years ago. Like he's just there.
It's just there, but also not really there.
I think. I mean, here's somebody whose ADP is just below Josh Cullen. Jed Spence, I think, will go undrafted in some leagues, and especially with the Udogi injury, I think he could do a job as a defender 3. So he's somebody that I think could be up there at the end of the season, undrafted.
It might be because he's only just been added to the system and added to the Spurs roster, but João Paulinho, I think his ADP is in the thousands at the moment.
But shouldn't it be?
I mean, he's gonna play compared to a bunch of the other guys, like in terms of nailedness and stuff like that. Nailedness.
I mean, I think Paredes is not going for he's people that are going to start and just by war of attrition have decent points at the end of the season. Like who's actually worth drafting? Who will go undrafted?
Do you think Igor from Forest gets drafted? The guy from Botafogo.
What's his ADP?
256, I think.
I don't think he gets drafted, but I'm not sure he plays.
So you think it would be CHO and probably
And
Doi.
And
Yeah.
maybe Traore coming in.
Yeah, but those two would probably be first choice, but
Mine is Yassin Ayari. He's the kind of steady Eddie that every 4 or 5 games comes up with an attacking return on top of his 8 points per start. And he's definitely not getting drafted. Good discussion.
Yeah.
We've all already talked about Everton, and let's look at our last question from Murph. Are we all going to look back and wonder why we let Ødegaard and Foden fall into the late second and third?
Yes, Odegaard, no Foden.
Odegaard's not really falling into the late second.
no, he's not. He's shooting like a freaking rocket. So yeah, that's not happening. But Foden has the potential of being like a very, either way, to be honest, a very obvious pick at the end of the season as to like, yeah, of course he didn't do shit, or like, yeah, it was crazy that he slipped that far. So like, yeah, it's not going to be a like, oh, he's okay, hit or miss. It's going to be like he was a steal or he was, yeah, a dumpster fire again.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Foden is the only one who is being drafted post like 20th pick that has potential to be a top 5 asset at the end of the season.
Or bottom 5.
Or bottom 5, yes. Yes.
All right. ¿Qué
All
más?
right. Nada más.
All right. Adios. Thank you, guys. This has been Midfielders. Of course, we will do forwards sometime by the end of the weekend to get you ready for your drafts. For folks like me who have yet to taste the succulent draft yet, that will be me. So we will get you your forwards really soon. But been a good discussion on midfielders. Appreciate all your support with the draft kit and everything. Good luck with your drafts. In the meantime, we will see you soon. Cheers.
See you guys.
Bye.